really marks the beginning of our extensive application outreach process. We want to start with a strong class. We want to fill that class with change agents. So some of you may be in this room, or you may know other people who you think will make a great fit for this program. So this is about starting that page of, can we really build the future of agribusiness in Ghana, and build that pipeline of leaders who are going to transform that sector. So I encourage you to get involved. Whether you help us in getting applications out there, whether you actually are representing an organization that can sponsor some people from your company to join, whether it's you are representing a school or institution that will be interested in running this program, and others, to be enabled that we get as many people trained as possible. Whether it's content development, if you do, we have structured the program in such a way that we have guest speakers, so we want to have practitioners from industry into the class, so our experts and residents. We are still developing local cases as part of the options of this. So there's so many ways in which we are developing content. We want as many people from the industry to be involved in this revolution as possible. And so that basically is the program. I'll open it up for questions now, and questions which can be to address on the program or to our speakers in terms of the industries they are coming from, or to our special guest of honor here. But I would like to open it for questions before we formally launch the program with the minister's representative.
I want to know, what is the fee like? How much does it cost for somebody to get trained on this agribusiness management program?
The cost is 5,200 Ghana cedis. But I'm sure, as Diana indicated, there are some maybe support for some of the applicants. So that is what I can say about it. And it's a residential program, so all inclusive. Thank you.
The drive for success for most or all businesses is market. And we know Ghana, our market is small, limited. Are we going to look at the export sector? I'm coming from the Ghana Export Promotion Authority. Are we going to look beyond our market here and looking at the export market as well?
For export markets, I think yes. I think one of the reasons this is a Pan-African approach is that we realize that it's not just the Ghana challenge in terms of unlocking the agribusiness opportunity, but it's a continental challenge and need. And so even before you get to export markets, start right from our local regional markets and opportunities to our to global markets. And so one of the things that we are trying to address in this program is looking at, when you look at market dynamics and understand the agricultural value chain, is looking at product quality, product management, some of the standards and so on that are needed, understanding the customer at that level, and dealing with issues. And so if you have, we do hope to have people in the classroom that are, if not currently exporting, are looking to export as one of their next chapters of growth. And so we think that it's critical to focus on export markets in addition to local markets. But underlying both of these markets, you have a quality and a quantity issue. And so how can people be equipped to actually look at the underlying process of this and then be able to build on these growth opportunities?
How do you see the use of the GIMPA course we just had? How do you see its use for this new program? Because it's a whole lot of materials, and then the approach and everything, as we know, was very innovative. How do you see us collaborating and doing something together?
In terms of case studies, that I think the AgMP program, for instance, they have already developed some cases that I think we can use for this program. And also, as we also develop new cases, I think we can also use them in the AgMP work. But I think in the long run, to ensure sustainability of these two programs, we need to maybe work closely together so that some of the models can either be merged or either we need to add some of the models, or in terms of the resources, faculty, etc. I think there's definitely a lot we can do together. Thank you.
Schools should be able to integrate the agribusiness offerings. And so we actually do not want to look at it as a program or project versus project, which project comes in sponsored by which organization approach, but it should become part of the institutional offerings of the school. So I think as the schools continue to, so this is the new area for business schools. Faculty are now starting to get immersed in the content. And I think programs like this give the opportunity for schools to be able to test what it is they can deliver, to continue to develop their capacity. And what we would like to see is that it's not about this program versus this program, but it's about this is the agribusiness offerings we have. These are the range of services that we can develop for the sector based on their needs. And so these programs provide a learning opportunity to see how you can uncover that. Where they had the objective of wanting to train their grantee organizations, so managers working with their grantee organizations across Africa. And we're able to expand this that we need to look at the entire value chain, to have the different stakeholders in the value chain involved. So there are limited scholarships available for participants coming from GATE grantee organizations, which will be a significant part of the class. And then we are still in the process of looking at whether there can be companies sponsoring participants as well. So depending on where you're applying from, there could be an option of scholarships available or partial sponsorship available. And I'll let Dr. Beck speak to the cost.
There are others who are body farmers who are producing a lot. They don't have a degree, then they don't qualify. But then you put all of them as stakeholders. So the question is, which stakeholder are you focusing on? Which stakeholder are you focusing?
This program will hopefully produce graduates who will ask that question and then try to find an answer, try to find a solution to that question. Try to ask why is it that the farmers are earning only 4% and find out what they can do to earn more than the 4%. And I think that is the essence of the program. Because what determines the 4% is a whole range of issues. It could be that you're only producing the cocoa bean. If you're producing a liqueur, you might earn a little bit more. If you're moving further down the value chain, you might earn even more. It could do with the volume of cocoa that the person is producing. If they're only supplying 100 bags, you get less value for it than if they're supplying 1,000 tons or 10,000 tons. They have more pricing power. So what the hope is that graduates from this program will ask the question and then try to find out the answer.
We're looking at the education of the human capital needs for agriculture. And we've been in conversations or in partnership with the African Union, NEPAD, and what they're trying to do at the ATB. And I think the minister's representative will probably have insights on that. What NGOs are trying to do, where you have some people offering farmer business schools, some people teaching at the farmer level and so on. And then there are a range of people trying to offer services. And so what she tries to look is that she look at the core competency of business schools and where your strengths are. And where you are best able to provide a solution, a sustainable solution to the market. And so in looking at that, you have to figure out how we can niche. And so there are a range of services. There could be, yes, I do agree with you that a lot of the people at the farmer level, a lot of people practicing agribusiness may not have degrees and so on. But then there are so many people. So let's say I take an organization like TechnoServe, I take the Agile and so on, you take the thousands of graduates that come out of our universities working in this sector. How are you equipping them? And they in turn are working with these and so on. And so we are looking at, so in looking at our professional managers, and looking at where we are focusing.
My problem is with the scoping. So I think that you are not clarifying that, so you can probably look at the scope very well. When you put all as a whole stakeholders, that means that.
But we further define that. We further define that. So you could have a manager of a farmer-based organization who has a diploma. There could be someone like that, or you have someone like from Gina's company who is working directly with those farmer processing centers who actually essentially employs graduates. And so we're looking to niche and to focus. We can't, and I said earlier that we can't be all things to all people at once. And there are different needs of the sector. So where do you have the best, where do you have your competency, and where can you address that? And through that, understanding the linkages and so on. So for example, one of the people we're engaging with is GIZ that has the farmer business schools in different countries in West Africa. So they are training at the farmer level, that there's skills that you can impart in these trainings that they can continue to distribute. So we can't address all needs with one program.
There are all kinds of people practicing agribusiness who have no degrees or diplomas. How do we get them into the program? In this country, we know there are journalists who run newspapers who have no degrees or diplomas, and they run them very well. and they have intelligent discussions on all kinds of media. So let's look at it from that point of view. In the program we ran, we didn't relate it to a degree, or it's just that you are practicing something around the chain, and then when you go back, you can use the knowledge to contribute to your organization. I think let's take the degree. There's a labor rights and agribusiness program. That is a degree program, but this is a GIMPA. Let's make it more practical.
A key question about how does this trickle down to the farmer level? And I think that's why, in a way, for us, it's important who we bring into the classroom. So it's not just about the traditional, oh, you're applying, you just sit in a classroom, and like we said, what is it, just warming the seats for program to program as a serial graduate, but it's about, are you bringing people in the class who are at that level where they're working with farmers, they represent farmers, they're working in businesses that source from farmers. You're bringing in the value chain, and you're defining a class profile that really has the ability to impact and answer these questions, ask and answer these questions, as Jerry was known. And so through that, you have that indirect impact. So that's our goal, the very development objective, and how can you transform?
Mr. Chairman, the invited guests, reps the various institutions and organizations herein assembled, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I bring you special greetings from my minister. Ladies and gentlemen, from the discussions so far, I think you'd agree with me that the significance of agriculture to our country is not in dispute. All of us agree, because agri provides jobs, it provides food, it also provides foreign exchange for us as a people. But in spite of this significant role of the sector is besieged with myriad of problems. We have post-harvest losses, and even where we have a good weather, we are not able to maximize the yields. And most of the time, the weather also fails us, because agri is rain-fed. We depend a lot on the weather. Just yesterday at a program in Kumasi, I met one of our regional directors, asked him how the region was doing. He said, the only problem is the rains. For a month, the rains have not been coming. That is the danger. When you need the rains, you don't get it. And when you don't need it, it comes with the consequences that are obvious to you and I. Because of these factors, agri has over the years proven to be unprofitable, especially to the smallholder farmer. What is our answer to this problem? As a ministry, we want to promote value addition. Over the years, we've been embarking on this kind of promotion and sensitization to promote value addition along the entire spectrum of the value chain. We've been doing this, and we also feel that the way we do agriculture in the country is not, or does not make it attractive, especially to the young who are energetic and can maybe do more than the aged farmers that we have today. As a result, the ministry is linking up with the German government to promote the program which we call AgMP, that is Agri-Technical Vocational Education and Training, AgMP. The basis is very simple. We want to promote the science and skills of agriculture as a business among the youth. To this end, we have introduced agribusiness in all our training institutions as a subject in all the training, agricultural training colleges across the length and breadth of the country. We want them to have the agric is also a business, and that the farmer can also be called agripreneur. That is the new term we are introducing, agripreneur. That is agric as a business, right? And we also believe that, with harvest losses, is actually fighting against the profitability of agric as a venture. So now we are talking to private investors to promote, to provide storage facilities. Some time ago, I had the opportunity of being in a discussion with my bosses, with Kofi Annan, the former Secretary General, when he was about to start his Green Revolution. And he threw the question, what do you want me to do for you? That's to do for the country concerning agriculture. I quickly passed a note to my boss that we should ask for silos because there is too much post-harvest losses. But the discussion finally settled on how to improve yield. And I'm sure he's been helping us. And today, we are doing fertilizer subsidy. We are introducing policy to regulate seeds that come into the country, all with one intent, how to promote yield. But sadly, we've done that at the expense of how to protect what we produce so that we don't lose them through post-harvest losses. All these are fighting against agriculture and it's making it unprofitable, especially for the smallholder who are in the majority. Unfortunately, as a country, we don't have large-scale producers. It's now that we want to encourage medium-scale producers through the outgrower system. We're doing it, and we are hoping that through this course, we have more people coming into the agri sector to function as medium-scale producers or outgrower farmers, so that they can produce ready market for the small-scale holders who are scattered around them. That assurance of market is very sure and very hopeful, would encourage the small-scale farmer to do more, so that the aggregate of their produce will give us a high yield as a country. Let me talk about the FBOs. See, we are also organizing them into FBOs because the bankers and the other financiers want to be dealing with organizations instead of dealing with individuals. That is what is happening. When you give a loan to an individual smallholder, the likelihood of repayment is very slim. That is why the bankers are not interested in dealing with them. We are hoping that through the outgrower system, they can have access to capital, financial capital, to do their work. And more so, when they should come together as LBOs, they may present their needs for financial assistance as a group, and that might also find favor with the bankers and the other financiers. We heard about GDP, agri's contribution to GDP dropping. Right, let me use this platform to explain that. Agri-productivity is never dropping, as it is being erroneously carried out there. See, in percentage term, I will say yes, it is dropping, because agric is losing its lead position to other sectors, especially the service sector. But that is to be expected. As the economy grows, agric cannot. If you say you are a medium-term economy and agric is the leading contributor to your GDP, it doesn't happen. nobody would even believe you, because the service industry must lead the growth of any middle-scale economy. And that is what we are experiencing as a country. People are erroneously interpreting it as a drop in agri productivity. On behalf of my minister and the entire ministry, I want to put it on record today that in real terms, we are producing more, though in percentage terms, we are not, because the industry and the service sector especially is growing. So it is 100% we are distributing. So the growth in percentage terms of any of the aggregates would mean the others will drop. So if industry's contribution goes up in percentage terms, then the agriculture contribution in percentage terms will fall. Otherwise, we will have 105, 120, over 100, which is not possible. So let us have that explanation. And last year, the minister gave approval for the country to export grains outside this country. We exported grains last year. These are not known to the public. That is why maybe you are buying into the discussion that we are producing less than we have been doing in the past. So I would also want to appreciate the organizations who are into agro-processing, who are into agribusiness, AMSEC Resources, Blue Sky, Injaro, Agra, and all of you who are into agro-processing, because we believe that is where the solution to the problem of agriculture lies. Because when we produce and we sell the raw produce, our yield is as low as anything. But if we would be able to maybe process even 10% to 20% of what we produce, I am telling you that we can maximize the contribution of the agri sector. So on behalf of my minister and the entire ministry, I would want to associate myself with the AAC and GIMPA while expressing my gratitude to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation for helping GIMPA to come up with this agribusiness management program. We are hoping that your contribution will help in the growth of our sector. And on this note, I would want to declare the program duly launched.
Agribusiness, personally, I believe, holds the key to modernizing our agriculture and increasing the output from the sector, because we are suffering from post-harvest losses, and the processing of the produce would help us to reduce the impacts of post-harvest losses. So it is hoped that the program, as it comes out, train more and more entrepreneurs who will go in with modern ideas and managerial skills to help us manage our agri sector, manage the produce. We are very sure that the knowledge acquired will help us to go more and more into storage, more and more into processing, so that in the end we will lose very little, if anything at all.
I had a concern. I mean, it's a very nice program. All of us want to be part very soon as we enroll the program. I think my difficulty was with the wholesale scoping, that it covered the agriculture, the agribusiness stakeholders. When we have too many of our farmers who don't have the degree, but they are captured in the scope and who don't qualify. If they need to refocus on the scoping, so that those who are actually part of it cannot also be said not to be part of it. Or if they could also find a way to bring all of them on board, because we have too many of the farmers who are into agribusiness who don't have a degree, and so they could also be part in the model.
The program is has potential, and I think all stakeholders in agribusiness should take part in it.
And I believe a program like this is long overdue, where there is the need to harness resources, intellectual, physical, whatever it could be, to ensure that the agricultural sector that really is at the foundation of almost everything, industry, services, is really galvanized to make the impact that is necessary, because in the long run, after the boardroom wranglings here and there, the interactions, wherever international, local, they would stop for lunch or something that involves the farmer, and giving them capacity in a means such as this is something very credible. They might not be the ones in the lecture halls to study and all, even though they are primary stakeholders of a sort, but then, you know, the knowledge that would be transferred to them would definitely turn to impact that is needed for food security.
I think this program is a very good program, since it's going to really impact on standard at which we are now in terms of agricultural production in the country. I think for a long time now, agriculture has been seen as just for peasants, but I think that it's high time we now look at it more as a business, which I think for the launch of this agricultural business management program, I think it's going to have a good change as to how things have been done.